Kyle here from All Media Reviews. My apologies for the location I'm filming in today. Unfortunately, my neighbors have no respect for sound, and basically everywhere else in my house you can hear their music. So I've decided to record and film something in a different location to avoid at least myself hearing the background down in our utility room down here. So anyway, here to do a review of the new Ours album, Rocket's Red Glare, which was released on technically it was, I think, the 15th of July, the 19th of July, that's right. And when it came out, because Jimmy, Neko, and Ours had made an announcement, it was like, I want to say late June or something like that. I mean, I remember hearing the last of the show, and they talked about a new album coming at some point. But then he mentioned the song. He posted the video, like a link or an image for the song Autumn. And he says, we're going to be putting out some music that hasn't been released, that's some older music. I thought it was going to be like Mechanical Lovers and some other stuff. But the thing is, in the last 2 years at least, their last proper full-length album and release was the self-titled album, 2021, which is 17 tracks, and it's like over 70 minutes long. It's not on streaming services now. It might be on the Soundcloud, but that's about it. It's not on YouTube either. And of course, when it came out in 2021, in May of 2021, they had released what was known as Spectacular Sight, which was the third of this trilogy of albums, the previous two being New Age Heroin in 2018 and Ballet of the Boxer 1 in 2013. But Spectacular Sight was on the SoundCloud for like a week or two, and then Jimmy pulled it. I don't know, wasn't happy with it, whatever, you know. So iteration of these songs and versions has taken a lot of back and forth. The same thing is, the same day they released an EP called New Media Age? Or Media Age? Is it Media Age in 2020 also, after they pulled Spectacular Sight. Which had like 1 or 2 tracks, I forget. Anyway, then, you know, they put out 2 other EPs the same day, I'm pretty sure, the same week in 2021. It was like May 15th of 2021. It was like the 20th anniversary of Distorted Lullabies. And so you had those 2 EPs, the previous EP, Media Age, and then this album all out. Although I'm pretty sure only this was on Spotify. Most of them were on the bandcamp. I'm not sure how many of them were on Spotify. Anyway, this got pulled from Spotify. The EPs, those EPs, 3 EPs. Media Age, of course, from 2020, and then 2021's Right Here, Right Now, and The Bell of Fall came out in 20. Those were on Bandcamp at least. All of that stuff, as far as I can tell, are not on stream anymore. So then what happens, and he puts out a video for the song Eternally. It was like AI. I've like watched it once. But anyway, it's a song from this album, of course, the self-titled from 2021. So then we get this notice, and it's like, it was right after, I don't know if it was because of what happened with the shooting with Trump, but, or it was around 4th of July, he wanted to, Rocket's Red Glare, was the name of this album, and it came out on July 19th, so just out of nowhere. And the track list is not, you know, new songs, or songs, unreleased songs, per se. It's not old songs. It's a lot of songs from this and a lot of songs from those 3 EPs. However, they were like remixed. All these albums have been remixed a bunch of times. So I'll go over the track list. There's a total of, I think, 12 tracks. Yeah. No, 13. There's 13 tracks. So let's see. Let's go through it. Track number 1 is If There's Love. It's 2 minutes and 14 seconds. It's basically an instrumental. It was track 9 on here. Anyway, track number 2, See the Light, which was the 10th track on here. So those 2 went right back to back. You went track 9, track 10, kind of the middle of this album, actually. See the Light. Then you had track 3. Track 3 is Slipping Away from the Media Age EP from 2020. That was the 2nd track on there. And I'll get a little bit more into that. But track number 4, "Don't Lose Yourself," was also was on a couple different things. It was on that like sampler, the Spectacular Sight sampler and Spectacular Sight, but then ultimately Bet was at track number 8. So a lot of the middle of this record's on this new album, this previous record. A lot of the middle of this album is on Rocket's Red Glare, but it was track number 8, so 5 minutes and 6 seconds. "Screaming Out." Now this is, as far as I can tell, a new track, but there's something familiar about it. I wonder if it's a song that was on one of the other EPs, like the Bella Fall, that was renamed. But anyway, because I got to go back. I have those downloaded. They're not on Bandcamp anymore, not on Spotify. They might be on his SoundCloud page, and they might be on YouTube, maybe. But I know I have them downloaded. But I have to go back and listen to find out, because the lyrics are similar, but it's not listed on anything. Track number 6 is "More Money," which was on the Media Age EP from 2020. That's the 3rd track on that EP, that was. Track number 7, "Wounds of Love," from the Right Here, Right Now EP from 2021. That was the 3rd track on there. 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Track number 8, "Bells," which has been kind of a live staple for many years, probably the last decade almost. Even as a solo Jimmy Necco. But that was on the Bella Fall EP. It was track number 3. That's track number 8 on this album, the Rocket's Red Glare. Track number 9, "Rise." That was also on the Bella Fall. That was track number 1 on the Bella Fall EP. That's track number 9. It's 3 minutes and 53 seconds. Track number 10, "All Gone." I believe this is a new one. I don't have any memory of hearing this before. 8 minutes and 6 seconds. Sort of an epic. A little epic for them, I guess you could say. "All Gone," number 10. Track number 11 is "Eyes," which is whatever this is. It's track number 13, toward the end of the self-titled album. Track number 11, it's 5 minutes and 37 seconds. Track number 12, "Bring It On," which was originally released at track number 12. So, you have "Eyes" and toward the end. Is it "Bring It On" toward the end? I have it listed as track 12. This is 17 songs, so it's this sort of the latter half of the second, or the early part of the second half. Yeah, if I got "Bring It On" in the right, yeah. The last track on that movement. I know this album has movements, the movements of 5, 6 sections. It's the 5th track on that second part. So anyway. But "Bring It On," track number 12 on this record, and then "Believe," which was the first track on the Right Here, Right Now EP from 2021. So, all right, I'll get into it now. But as I've stated now, I've kind of gone over this in great detail. This album, Rocket's Red Glare, is very much of a representing songs that have been released. But I suppose part of the thinking is that he released this, it was up for a little while, and he pulled it, and so a lot of fans, a lot of people don't even know songs on here, and especially they wouldn't necessarily know the songs on the EPs that he put up too, less likely. So that was his thinking. I want to put these EP songs that he really liked. He had a lot of songs. I mean, you think about that, 17 songs on here, and then the 3 EPs, they were like, I don't know, a grand total of it was like 12 songs or 13 songs. So he had like 40 tracks to release, and that's kind of why maybe he felt some of the songs on the EPs needed to be on a full-length album, but they were remixed. But anyway, "If There's Love" is an instrumental piece mostly. You do have Jimmy screaming. There's some mellotron, like a violin patch, but it's got this nice build. It's only 2 minutes and 14 seconds. It's got this gated drum fill. It's super fast, kind of a march. But yeah, and then later it's actually, I believe, reprised on "Bring It On." It sounds like the same. I mean, the fact that it's weird. I didn't realize that before, but it basically the motif in it, the instrumental motif, it sounds a lot like "Bring It On." Even the screaming, I think, could have been on it. But there's something about "Bring It On" that I got to talk about when I'll get to that. So track number 2, "See the Light." I like this song. It's okay. It's not. I mean, I don't know why he chose this song to be featured on Rocket's Red Glare, but whatever. But it's a decent song. It's got the line, "Can you help? Can you help me see the light?" It's got driving rhythm. Track number 3, "Slipping Away." So this is one of the EPs I didn't listen to as much as this, although I gave it some miles, but I have less memory of them. But I like this song a lot. The drums sound very busy, very big. So I think he might have remixed this song I don't remember the drums being as big on the EP version on Media Age, but you get some harmonies, including with the guitar. Then he goes, I'm still holding. I'm holding on. The drums are really fast. Then he eventually talks about a butterfly. I turned into a butterfly. It sounds like it's re-recorded, and then it abruptly ends. It's like 2 minutes and 51 seconds. It's almost like a pull me under thing. It just stops. So anyway, track number 4, Don't Lose Yourself. I think that this is a live staple. I mean, like, he's been playing it the last few years frequently. Again, another song that was on this album, and I like it, but I've never been like attached to it. Slow tempo. It does remind me a little bit of Ran Away to Tell the World from the Mercy record, with the cello arrangement and everything. The line, who's the ghost in the mirror, can you tell? Don't lose yourself in this hell. He hangs that, don't lose yourself in this hell. Who's the ghost in the mirror, can you tell? Haunting textures, a lot of haunting parts, including some mellotron on this. Then at the very end, I kind of like it. It reminds me of a David Bowie thing. He has the line, someone's on the radio talking to me like a something W-E. I couldn't get the last word. I don't think the lyrics were actually, because we didn't get actually, well, maybe we did. Don't lose yourself. No, it just has the credits. So, anyway, it's online. I didn't get a chance to look it up. So, track number 5, Screaming Out. So this is definitely a highlight. Among all the first 4 tracks, this is better than any of the first four tracks. I like Slipping Away, but this is classic Jimmy Necco R's kind of wailing. It's got this distorted intro like a synth, but it's kind of garagey in that sense. I'm not crazy about it, but the mix production changes about 45 seconds in. Got this line, going down as the sun is setting in our eyes. Mentions the most spectacular. He's seen like the most spectacular sight. Kind of like the original title of this follow-up record was gonna be Spectacular Sight. Of my life, get out, so I can hear you calling like a love is screaming out. Get out! Jimmy does his screaming, and when you like his screaming, his voice like I do, you appreciate that often. I can hear you call like love is screaming out. Like, it's very impassioned. I mean, it's one of probably the 30 or 40 most impassioned songs. The guy's written 200 or 300 songs, but it's in the top 30, top maybe 20 most impassioned vocal lines he's ever written. It's a highlight for sure, Screaming Out. And I gotta figure out, I want to say there was another track on one of the EPs that was similar, but anyway, that he just renamed possibly. Anyway, track number 6, More Money, 6 minutes and 9 seconds, a longer track. That was off the Media Age EP. Kind of in your face, has a almost punkish element and almost like a rap. The line, praying for thee, I think it's what he says. I don't need my money, there's a lesson over here. And he mentions dancing with the devil, and then with all the love and all the peace, I don't need my money. Don't need my money. It's like it's kind of like the thing. Well, I don't need money to, I don't need money. Money's not going to solve these issues. Other things will solve it. Doesn't Jimmy? He gets this distorted screaming part in the middle there. Then it has this quieter part because again, this is a 6 minute 9 second song. It's a quieter part. Jimmy sings with an acoustic guitar picking over. Very kind of staccato picking over drumming over drums in the background, but he says, can't you see you're dying? I need time, the precious gift of time. I don't need more money with all the lies and all the greed. It's kind of I could tell maybe it was inspired by sort of, he wrote this song a while. The song could be 10 or 15 years old, but the major label thing, the music industry and all this stuff, but it's got a gritty fuzz guitar at times, guitar tone. Why did I write down party? I don't know. But it's very garagey. I mean, it's a garagey track that I like it. It was on that EP, and I don't remember enough about it to remember if this is identical. But I like it. I like it more than some of the tracks on this record for sure. I don't like it as much as Screaming Out or maybe Slipping Away. Anyway, track number 7, Wounds of Love. I can get this thing to scroll down. 4 minutes and 6 seconds off the Right Here, Right Now EP originally. Can you heal me? The line, can you heal me? Can you? Yeah, that's right. He kind of yells. It sounds like he was saying, can you hear me? But the fact it's called Wounds of Love, I believe he's saying, can you heal me? Can you heal me? it's kind of therapy for him. But it's a mid-tempo track. It gets slower at points, but then it gets in this march around the 3+ minute. Around the 3+ minutes mark, he gets into this kind of Middle Eastern chanting, Ale, Ale, ring down, let it ring down, let it ring down. I love that. When Jimmy and Echo and ours does that, have like their Middle Eastern kind of elements in their music, it almost always works for me. Kind of like on, was it Murder and some of the stuff off Precious. But yeah, I really like this track. Again, a song that I like, but I think I like it more now, or maybe this arrangement in the mix. So then we get to track number 8, Bells. Again, a live staple for the past 5, maybe 10 years. The biggest part, there's a lot of things I like about this song. It's maybe my favorite track on this record still, or is, because I've always loved this song. It was on the Bella Fall EP, and I didn't listen to it as much as I probably should have, but it's got super fast guitar picking. It's very busy. Some of the drumming is really fast. It's very energetic. The line, demon when you run, I couldn't catch it all. Shadow in your sun, demon when you run, shadow in your sun, all the things you thought you would come true, all the things you lost. The last one went through so fast, it sent you screaming. You passed right into your future will be good, great. I can't remember if it says your future will be gray or good. I couldn't catch the last word. Because the mix is there's so many layers to it. Then you get this dying quail guitar tone, which is like, and there's other songs that ours have done with that. Da na 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 na. But it's very sympathetic and pretty at the same time being very kind of just it's infectious. The riffing is just so fast in the middle, slurring the notes. Rings out. The guitar rings out. The middle section always has been it's always been a favorite of mine. A lot of chord changes. It's very progressive. All the things you lost, change yourself. The production with headphones, I'll admit, I had it all the way up, is a little hot. But Jimmy did the mixing on all these songs, at least these versions, the last 5 years especially. I know he talked about that when this came out, and when he did all the mixing on it. 'Cause I know the guy who was mixing some of the music passed away. That friend of his. It's like 2018 or 2019. Anyway. So then we get to track, the last line on the Bells. The bells will get you, the bells will get you. Bells is fantastic. Track number 9, Rise, 3 minutes and 53 seconds. The line, take me to your place, want to be alone tonight. I want to break this spell tonight. Nice piano in the middle, it's haunting. Sort of a fast tempo. As we would die to see the light. This was on the Bella Fall EP, by the way, I didn't mention that. We will all rise. I want to raise some hell tonight. I want to break the spell tonight. I like this song. I'm not like obsessed with it, but I think it's decent. It kind of fits along the lines of songs like Gold on here and a few others. But anyway, so track number 10, we got All Gone, another song that I had not heard. This is a completely new track. 8 minutes and 6 seconds, so it's sort of an epic, as I mentioned when I was going through the track list originally. Angular guitar riff at the beginning, and then you get some mellotron. It's great. Then the line, I put my faith in your arms tonight. Lines like, they're all gone, they're all gone. Very driven by these fat drums. These drums are just so big and fat. It's like this hard snare drum. It goes on throughout basically the rest of the song after the first minute or two. But at some point it fades. That's right. It fades out. It leads to this mellotron with this like dark wave synth patch and a string part. Sort of as bad. Then the snare comes back. So that's like a minute. It's like the snare, the really heavy in-your-face snare drum part is not throughout the rest of the song, but it's most of it. But it fades out, then comes back in, and it builds back up again. And then you hear some synth and pitch bending plucking on a guitar. The tone moves along a bit methodically, adding some layers. It even sounds like there's some trumpet in there, and then a synth patch that's sounding like it's either a trumpet or a synth patch that sounds like a trumpet. But with repeated drum patterns, it's kind of tribal. I mean, it really is. This is a very in-your-face song, kind of like Murder. All Gone. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the better tracks on here for sure. Even though it's 8 minutes, I don't think it really seems too long for me. It might be for some other people, but I think it works. So track number 11, Eyes, was one of my more favorite tracks. I think it was like my fourth maybe favorite track on the self-titled album from 2021. But this is the 13th. It was 5 minutes and 37 seconds. It's a sort of a gothic piano ballad. It's like a march, kind of a slow march, but it's very pretty, like a string section. The production does remind me of like 80s Queen though. It was weird. It's like, oh, I never thought about that. But the line, still hoping there will come a day in several ways, then sail away, but I think there might be a little difference in the mix on this version of Eyes than from the self-titled CD that's not available anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, it's maybe even the arrangement. The bass line's maybe a little higher. It's a better mix of the drums and the strings. Because I had headphones on. Very pretty. There has got to be something better. Hands to... Then he does this ending, this great vocal, fast kind of chanting or like in-your-face vocal part, kind of rising up. Hands to the sky. Kind of like Faith No More or something. Hands to the sky, show me a sign. Give me a reason why guns take the lives of children while some pray for peace, others want to fight. Idealistic mind in a futuristic time. Gotta shine, gotta shine. Yeah, it's majestic. I like this on here, and I think maybe this version, if it's different, I might like even more. It's at least, I like it as much. So anyway, track number 12, Bring It On. 3 minutes and 38 seconds. A song I had listened to, they did a lot on that documentary. So I heard this song many times. They played it live when I saw them the last 2 years, both times. I think that this might be both better mixed and the arrangement might be slightly different in the middle. It starts out dirty and grindy, like, you know, it was track 12 on here, but it was sort of, like I said, it was the ending of the second sort of movement or section. But it's got a grindy guitar riff, and then Jimmy goes, if there's love. See, that's sort of echoing If There's Love. It's sort of a reprising of the If There's Love, the first track. Never occurred to me. The connection between Bring It On and If There's Love, the opening instrumental track mostly. Bring it on down, bring it on down, bring it on. Yeah, it's got that just a repeated phrase. Some of the mix, it just sounds better and cleaner. Some of it still sounds hot and muffled a little bit, but I think that's intentional in the production standpoint, but I think he cleaned it up. Jimmy remixed it. The middle section sounds new. Bride? Middle Eastern with chanting, na 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 na. I have to go back and listen to this. Bring it on, the drum pattern. It's dreamy. Bring It On is a song. Bring It On is a song I've liked, but I'm not in love with as much as like Eyes or some of the other songs on here. I have to admit, while I'm not sure how much more it compares to some of the best tracks on this album, Rocket's Red Glare, I like it more. I think it's grown, or this version I like a little more maybe. So the final track, Believe. Right Here, Right Now. I'm really liking this song, and this is from the Right Here, Right Now EP from a few years ago again, 2021. But intro sounds like Jimmy chanting in like a spacey, trippy way. You just hear him chanting. There's no words with a clean guitar riff. Then the drums get crazy fast. This is what makes the song. It's really busy. I want to believe that love will see you, make me believe. So please believe. Surrender, surrender, my body is yours. Surrender, surrender, my body is yours. Pounding bass drum. It's either bass drum or tom-tom drums, because I did the tom-tom drums on stage with them for Worst Things Beautiful, and that was a tradition they did for a while, not in the current band, but previous bands, where they would do these group drum jams with the tom-toms. They get like 4 or 5 band members with the drummer. But very tribal, very driving, but also clean. It's weird. So there's like 3 or 4 songs on this album, Rocket's Red Glare, that the drums are a big highlight. And when the drums are really well arranged and they play a big part in the song, when I think of the song, I'm a sucker for it. Not always, but often. And, you know, drums are an underrated part of ours' sound, especially if you've seen them live. They can be loud, they can be distorted, they can be garagey at points. I can definitely tell that Jimmy did some work on some of these songs, because, I don't know, there's something resonating a little bit more with them than the versions on the EPs. Not so much. I mean, Eyes might be a little bit different. The ones, Don't Lose Yourself, I'm not really loving any more, any less. But I think overall, though, it's early on, because this album's only a couple weeks old. I think that this album is going to work a little bit better than the self-titled album. Because I think it's sort of less is more, and it like features more, it's more cohesive, and the production's a little bit better, and the mixing's a little bit better. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's any better than the previous two. I think of the previous two. I think of, it doesn't have, you know, anything quite as catchy as Get That Feeling, or even as dreamy as Across the Clouds, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say the sum of its parts are a little bit higher score. It could be higher score than this. So I'm happy, even though I feel like it's sort of similar to like what Fair to Midland did with Inner Fun to Stifle and Fables from a Mayfly, or what Kevin Gilbert could have done with Thud, with the alternate Thud, and even with the 20th Century demos and all this stuff. Or what 3 did to an extent, because a lot of the songs on Summer Camp Nightmare ended up on Wake Pig and the 2 different versions of Wake Pig. So it's this kind of process has happened before, where a band or an artist releases an album, then releases an album with a lot of, not mostly the same songs, but they're different arrangements, or it's a different, hearing the songs together differently. It's happened before. Sometimes you just see them recycle and like the Tea Party did that on their last record, which was like songs from an EP and then a couple, like 3-4 new songs that weren't that great. I think it's pretty strong, and I think it's work, so it's going to be an album that I'm going to have to consider for my Albums of the Year list, and in their canon. I don't know if it's going to kind of bury this one. I mean, as far as our Spectacular Sight, because technically Spectacular Sight was the first batch of songs from this era that was released. And of course, the other thing I'm still super curious about is, what does this mean for all these, again, songs like Mechanical Lovers and Shoot the One, or whatever, Wish for None, songs that I'm pretty sure he at least demoed, if not recorded, that haven't been released. When I get to talk to him, ever get to talk to him again, I need to ask him. I asked him about the Jellyfish thing. I need to ask him about that. I need to ask him, is there any chance a lot of those songs from the mid to late 2000s, when you were recording stuff for the Mercy record that didn't end up on the Mercy record, are going to come out at some point? And I hope that's what he's talking about. Autumn's not on here. Autumn was on one of the EPs, though, and he mentioned he was releasing Autumn, so that suggests that we're going to get another archival release from them. Also, this album, Rockets Regular, is supposed to be officially in like a physical form going to come out. Maybe it'll hit the streaming services next year in 2025, because it's not actually on Spotify, only Eternally, and Eternally is not even part of it. It's on the Bandcamp page, though. I don't know, then the stream on, I don't know if it's going to stay up on both Bandcamp and SoundCloud, but anyway, I'll leave a link to the Bandcamp, and if I can find the SoundCloud, I'll do that too. But what do you think of the new Ars album, Rockets Red Glare? I give a thumbs up, but I'd love to hear about that. I'll probably do a review of the Radigan EP, but the other thing I got going on, hopefully tomorrow, I'm not working tomorrow, but I have 2 big appointments tomorrow. Scott from the Prog Corner is doing a 21st century modern prog bands list on Sunday's stream, and if he asks me to be on there, I'll be totally happy to do it. But if he doesn't, I've decided I made my own list. I already did the ranking. I'm going to make my list. I think I've done this before to some degree, but I'll do it. It's hard to really say. I don't know if I'll do 21. I know that Ian from Rhyme Signatures did something similar, but he did a top 10. I'm going to do a top 20 to 25. I did a list of like almost 50. But that'll be coming probably tomorrow sometime, and then I got the anniversaries coming up too. But thank you for watching again, and we'll see you next time.